Welcome to the THEEEEE Sportscast Podcast, the most refreshing analysis, insight, and opinions in the world of sports. Here are your hosts, Josh Egan and Brandon Waterhouse.
All right, take two, episode 10. I had the absolute wrong timing. I already did my intro, but I'm just going to do it again. Episode 10. We haven't been canceled. We haven't been taken off the air. They're still letting us talk, so we're going to keep talking. The big episode for us, we have, I guess we can announce it now since we're probably going to put it in the description. We have you know what? You got to listen to find out. But we got a guest later on in the show. So we had a pretty busy Sunday weekend. First off, how was your weekend?
It was good. It's late on a Tuesday, clearly for me at least. It's kind of like the weekend's kind of like a far distant memory. It was good. I didn't actually get around to watching too much live football on Sunday, but personally, I just traveled and saw my family because we're living in a shitstorm, so we're just trying to get through. Right now, just excluding sports, it's kind of a difficult time to just be an individual in Ontario, especially in the Greater Toronto area. So just took some time off and a lot of schoolwork to catch up on, but definitely always thinking about keeping our schedule. What about you? How was your weekend?
Not bad. I worked from Friday to Sunday, like 36 hours. So making that money to keep the lights on, I guess. I don't know.
Lucky man. Yeah, not everyone can have a job right now. And
I feel very lucky where I'm at. I won't complain about the hours. I'll complain that I'm tired from the hours, but when you get that paycheck every Friday, it makes it all worth it. And also, I enjoy my job. I'm on the ice most of the time. Get to play a sport that I love for a living, and forever grateful for that. Let's get into
news.
The smoothest transition ever. Let's get into some news. You got NBA covered here. It looks like we got some.
Yeah, you know what? We won't spend too much time on some of this stuff, but as the days have gone by, free agencies have
right
taken over, I guess, the news in the NBA. I guess for us, we'll highlight the Raptors. We had a highlighter was Aaron Baines at center. He was a 2-year deal coming from Phoenix.
Right.
There was actually an important note on him was that as a center, you're the biggest guy on the court. You're not known for threes, but last year he hit 9 threes. It was like a record game personally, and for a center, he hit like 9 threes in one game last year as a Sun. And so It's just kind of like right. So it's just kind of like that's like one of the things that they highlighted when he was coming here. It was like he can shoot, but he's big, and he's actually the guy that fell on by accident, I'm assuming, Stephen Curry's wrist 2 years ago and broke his wrist. He's a big physical guy regardless of that. The Raptors should feel I've seen a lot of things that the Raptors fans are feeling upset that they lost both of our big men, especially because for us, we thought like Gasol was either going to come here or go like home to Spain. So it's kind of it was a little bit frustrating to see him. Personal thought right now, I guess. Of course, it was frustrating to see him go to the Lakers. The Lakers just absolutely unloaded in free agency, getting Dennis Schroeder. Gasol, we just talked about.
They got a bunch. I got a fun activity for you. I got the list of the top 10. Let's do top 15 because you're pretty.
Montrezl Harrell went to the Lakers. I don't know how I forgot that one. Sixth man of the year. Sorry.
I got a list here. Top 15 NBA free agents. I'm gonna say the name, where they went, and I want like a 10-second analysis from you. Okay.
That's good.
Sound good? So Anthony Davis, number 1. His last team was the Lakers. He's technically a UFA. I think we can just skip this one because we know he's all going to re-sign with the Lakers anyway. Do you agree?
Yeah, he's really close probably to re-sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. We won't spend too much time on that.
Yeah. Brandon Ingram, former team, the Pelicans. New team, the Pelicans. Agreed to a 5-year deal.
Huge deal.
$158 million over 5 years.
Huge deal. Was it just around 31 a year?
That math seems to add up, yes.
Yeah, so Brandon Ingram, they're taking a huge chance on him. Everyone a general comparison is a young Kevin Durant. Let's hope he can amount to something similar, I guess.
Fred VanVleet re-signed with the Raptors, 4-year, $85 million deal. That pretty much lined up with what you and I were talking about a couple episodes ago.
That was a big praise. I'm glad he listened to us, tuned in, saw that view. Just kidding. But Fred VanVleet, there is some news going around like during the signing. He was signing that like the new teams were losing interest in him, which was really surprising for me.
Yeah.
So it was just like a matter of time. You saw him re-sign, but it all makes sense now why he was working out with Kyle Lowry, and Kyle Lowry was one of the most excited people to see him come back, and as long as everyone else in Ontario, Canada, Toronto.
Right. Gordon Hayward, former team, the Celtics, he actually opted out of his contract and he got paid.
That was the biggest, yes.
Signs with the Charlotte Hornets, 4 years, $120 million. That's a great deal for him.
Yeah, you pretty much just summed that up, really. There's no question there. A lot of people are just saying, Gordon Hayward could walk into the gym and lace up his shoes and make that much money pretty much just because he's yet to prove himself. I guess people think that much worth of money, but Michael Jordan, people are saying, are giving him this chance to come in here and partner up with a young LaMelo Ball and maybe bring some maturity and professionalism to his game, because that's definitely what Gordon Hayward can do.
Yeah. I'm going to butcher this name, but Bogdan Bogdanovic. Did I get that right?
Oh, yeah. Bogdan Bogdanovic. Did he?
He's agreed to a 4-year, $72 million offer sheet, but the Kings have an opportunity to match it. So I think they have till the end of the week to match that. So we'll see what happens there, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, right on. Yeah, he'll be a valuable asset to any team he joins, and it's kind of his story right now is fluttered by an embarrassing squawk in Milwaukee Bucks human resource management.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Right. Christian Woods, former team Detroit Pistons, new team, the Houston Rockets, agreed to a 3-year, $41 million deal.
Yeah, Christian, I mean, it's good for him that he's joining DeMarcus Cousins now as well down there in Houston. Houston kind of got some experience just from around the league as well from Wood, and now Cousins coming down to Houston. So hopefully they can. It depends if they can keep either Russell or Harden on what their season looks like. But as a basketball fan, I'm really looking forward just to DeMarcus Cousins coming back, because he's like an all-star center, and it's just been so long since he's had the chance to prove so.
Right. Next one here, Joe Harris re-signs with the Nets, 4-year, $75 million deal.
Yeah, he's a valuable player for sure. He's one of those guys, kind of like a B grade Klay Thompson. Doesn't really dribble much, but he'll catch and shoot at a high rate. I'm pretty sure he won a 3-point contest a couple years back. That just goes to show what he can do. Everyone, I can't imagine right now, every deal is very, very luxurious and luxurious rather. And Joe Harris is kind of, I'm sure, capitalizing off of a shoot heavy market right now that people are paying high for.
Right. I'm just going to skip a couple here. Jeremy Grant leaves the Denver Nuggets and signs with the Detroit Pistons for a 3-year, $60 million deal. I liked this one, actually.
This is I agree. Grant's a great point. I think he had a great performance in the bubble, and that was leading off to a lot of analysts saying that he has a very promising short future. His very shortcoming future is very promising. I was trying to say, like, it won't take him long to develop. You've seen lots of signs in his maturity in his game already, and so at least he's, the Detroit Pistons are whatever they are, but for him it's a new look, and maybe everyone says that a new look for an individual is like a new opportunity for them to become a different player, a better player almost.
Right. I got a couple more here. Serge Ibaka leaves the Raptors, 2-year deal in LA, the Clippers, not the Lakers, $19 million deal. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, super tough. I was trying to mention that earlier, but we were just talking about Gasol. This one goes down to maybe some backdoor talks with Kawhi Leonard. Maybe not. I'm sure the the Clippers in general were interested in Ibaka and his abilities. He can shoot. He's a center. He's experienced. He's a winner. And now, more importantly, he was a former teammate with chemistry with Kawhi Leonard. So this is something that could play a big favor in leadership. He's a outgoing guy, and I know not only Toronto but Ontario and Canada in general will miss Serge Ibaka dearly, for sure.
And his big scarves. We already addressed Marc Gasol, so we won't do that one. But the Raptors had some signings as well. So they got Aaron Baines, 2-year, $14.3 million deal.
Yep. Like I said earlier, Aaron Baines is it's nice. He's a little bit of a younger replacement from Gasol. I don't know about the age difference between Ibaka, but he's a different type of player as well. He's something that the Raptors can expect the same type of physicality, I would imagine, from like Ibaka. Ibaka would bring
Yeah.
the same type of level, but it's good. We want to stay tough, but he can shoot too. So let's just hope we can get rebounds this year.
Alex Len has agreed to a 1-year deal. He comes from the Sacramento
Len.
Kings. What do you think of
I
that
had
one?
his name. I knew his last name. I had the Alex in my head. I was gonna say it, but I've been tired of butchering lots of names. But yes, Alex Len is a young center coming in to provide some depth, I guess, in the big position, you'd the 4 or 5. But he's had some highlights, and like I said, he's young, so he wants, like I said previously, that new places are a great opportunity for young people to have a change of environment and scenery, and then all of a sudden their game drastically improves. The Raptors hopefully can still incorporate their most other recent center signing in Chris Boucher, because they just reinvested in him.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Do you want me to read the deal to you, or do you know the numbers?
No, you can go off, finish this, and transition us out of there.
2-year, $13.5 million deal, Chris Boucher. So that's a good signing for them. I got a question for you, though, because we're a Toronto-based podcast, so I think it's important we talk about the Toronto team. The Raptors, with these signings, they got rid of Ibaka and they got rid of Gasol, who probably wanted long-term, and that's why they didn't sign them. So are the Raptors, by signing these guys to 1- and 2-year deals, locking in Van Vliet for a 4-year deal, are they making room for a big fish in the 2021 market? And before you jump in here, could that big fish be Giannis? Because him and Masai do have a long-lasting relationship back since like 2013, I believe. Is this a possibility, or are we going to have to go after another free agent in 2021?
I guess, you know what? I didn't think about it like that right now, because you think very short term as a Raptors fan, in terms of just the success of their competition next season. But in long term, they did sign, I guess, cheaper players in consideration to Gasol and Ibaka. Mm-hmm. And although they didn't lose Van Vliet, they still would have some room imaginably to bring in a huge free agency next year. And people are even saying Kawhi Leonard is available. Like,
he can still opt out. So
right. So that this is the end of his year, and Kawhi and even Kawhi and Masai have a relationship that still kind of prolongs it. We'll get into later as well, but people have already said that these people can come back. But I'm considering not really talking about Kawhi right now. Giannis, you want to imagine he's going to feel flirtatious in the market next year. Mm-hmm. So you'd hope that the Raptors could set up a package that offers him enough money, but more importantly, a place where he can win too. Right. There's a lot of names. Like, there's so many unimaginable names on the market as well. Just like this year, you never know what's going to pop up and pop down.
Well, if you've got your big three, you say having enough to win. If you had Giannis, Spicy P, and Van Vliet, do you think those two would be enough to attract him? I mean, even Lowry might stick around for one more year there. Would that be enough to attract that big of a superstar?
Right. And that's the thing. And that's a great question, because you're optimistic and favorable as a Raptors fan, because you want to think that those are good. Those are very good assets for a guy like Antetokounmpo. But for him, he also has probably the rest of the NBA offering him such packages and promises. So to start, I'll say as a Raptors fan, and from the Raptors point of view, you now have a committed Van Vliet in the contract, and you do have an aging Kyle Lowry who has, no matter what in his aging, he has valuable experience to offer and skill set on the court with playing time. Siakam has been a proven all-star. He just hadn't had most recent success in the bubble, which is completely fine. He'll bounce back. And to add on to players that are like very hopeful, people are saying that OG Anunoby could be an easily defensive player of the year, coming very shortly. So coming off the bench, you hope that people like Norman Powell and Boucher and Matt Thomas continue their kind of steady improvement and rise in effectiveness on the Raptors. But like at the end of the day, people have already been saying that there's like a chemistry situation and that he would go to Miami, and you already have Miami with Jimmy Butler and a lot of Tyler Hero and
Yeah.
other people, Bam, who just re-signed. But like that's just me. But there'll be other teams offering him the end of the world. At the end of the day, I do believe that it will come down to hopefully the Raptors beating the Milwaukee Bucks or just having a better record, and then Giannis will have to realize that he'll take a chance, just like every other free agent has, that he will be the difference maker as well.
Right. And I think people are just in the short term here for this upcoming season, people are kind of worried that the Raptors are going to be a weaker team and not be able to compete for a playoff spot or even make a deep run in the playoffs. And I think one of the X factors that kind of outlies them from these other teams is Nick Nurse and being able to relate to these players, because the Raptors are coming into this season with not as much experience as previous seasons. But if you take a look at a guy like Nick Nurse, he came into this job and took this team right to an NBA championship with no head coaching NBA experience. And then last year, they had the second best record in the NBA. People forget about that. Yeah, they were bumped in the playoffs, but
and he won Coach of the Year this year.
And he won Coach of the Year. So
the year after, he didn't win it for winning the championship.
Right.
We won't even mention this.
So, by the way, that's a cool fact, actually. 2 of the last 3 Coaches of the Years, Raptor coaches.
Dwayne Casey the year before.
Right. And then, so don't count the Raptors out yet. And do you have any final thoughts on the NBA, or are we good with the NBA talk?
We'll touch on some factors that aren't basketball related, but NBA star related at the end of the show. So we have lots of other things to get through as well, though.
All right, sounds good. We are going to take a quick pause for us. For you guys, it'll be about 5 seconds, and we're going to bring in our guest, who you'll meet him now. All right, we're back on the other side of the break. We are joined by a very special guest. This is exciting for both of us. Why? You know what? Just take it away. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where you play, what you do.
Hey guys. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Josh and Brandon. I really appreciate that. This year, recently got signed by the BC Lions in the 2020 draft. Very happy about that. It's my dream to be playing football and everything, so I'm really excited about that. Played football in high school at Oakville, White Oaks in Oakville, and went to York University, did my years there, and got drafted. Yeah.
So the question that's probably on everybody's mind, and I think we'll start here because it's the most relevant, is what was the draft like this year? Because I was tracking it along, like I was rooting for you. I was hoping you got drafted, and when you got drafted, I think I sent you a message saying like, "Hey man, like congratulations," and all that. And what was that like? Because obviously it was virtual this year, right? Like we couldn't do it in person. Yeah. So what was that experience like, and how did you watch it live? Like how was that for you?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, so I went to my mom's place. I was there with my girlfriend, my sister, my brother, my mom. And yeah, like we woke up, went to my mom's place with my girlfriend. I was nervous and everything. I was pretty confident I was gonna get drafted. But yeah, once we got there, we were there for like 3-4 hours just watching it live. And then I went on to like a CFL podcast where it was like online there. It wasn't on TV anymore, and I was just waiting. And then yeah, man, it was a crazy experience because like in the CFL draft, you have no idea what's gonna happen, man. Like it really depends on what the team needs. Let's say they have a lot of linebackers or they have a lot of bone linemen. It really depends on what they need. And so sometimes, running backs won't get drafted, or not a lot of linebackers will get drafted. It really depends, right? And I went in there free agent, I didn't have an agent or anything, so like I was very under the radar. And so as like the picks came in, like first round, second round, down to 8th round, that's when I got picked up by BC. I had no idea I was gonna get picked up by BC.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was under the radar, and like I finally got picked up, and I was so happy. But as time went on, last few picks were going, I was nervous, man. It was really stressful, but paid off.
Let me have a quick question. Do you mind mentioning what round that was and what pick you were?
8th round.
67th overall. I got it right here.
There we go.
I'm on it.
And me and Josh have clearly not done extensive enough research to understand. We're just going to ask you right now, what position do you play?
Linebacker. Well,
Perfect.
I played in university, but I might change in the CFL. Could play Sam or anything like that.
Nice.
That's great.
So before the draft, you just mentioned that you don't have an agent or anything. How did you go about talking to teams? Was that over Zoom meetings? Was that in person, like while you were playing your final year at university? How was that experience?
Yeah, like I had a few agents reach out to me, but none of them really caught my eye and really persuaded me to sign. I just thought, like I got so the combines got canceled for COVID, right?
Right.
I was very fortunate enough to get into the combine in Toronto, and I did that. I had my numbers, laid everything out there. I did very well, and so I just thought, like I don't think I need an agent, and it's late at this point. You know what I mean?
Probably saves
Yeah.
you some money.
Exactly. I mean, like it's not that much. Like a few weeks later after I got drafted, I ended up getting an agent because I'm training with CFL guys, like Jack Kassar, and all those guys, and I was training with them, and they have an agent, and it really makes things easy as far as like negotiating for contracts, getting looks like in the States, going to camps.
Yeah.
And they only take about 1% to 2%, maybe 3%. I'm doing 2% with my agent.
Right. That's great.
So whatever you make in the CFL, they take 2% of that, which is nothing.
Yeah.
So for them to make money, they have to have a lot of athletes. And yeah.
Wow. So that's cool to look at that. So obviously you had to start somewhere. You played at White Oaks. Sorry, did you just play at White Oaks, or did you play at OT as well?
I played at White Oaks for university. No, I was gonna say Oakville Trafalgar, but I played in Oakville and I played at WAS.
Okay, so you played at WAS. I was at WAS for 1 year, and then after White Oaks, you went and played at York University. What was that like? Because that's kind of everybody's kind of dream, is to play the sport they want to do, sport they want to play, at the highest level they possibly can at that time. And you were doing that, so you were there and you were able to do that. So tell us about that experience from your first year to your most recent year.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like at a very young age, I always knew I wanted to play ball. Even when I got my ass kicked in my first tryout in Oakville, like for the Titans, but I persevered and I stuck to it, and I played football and at White Oaks, and I was in applied also, and then
the applied academic debate, man.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Do they still have that?
I don't think so. I think they switched it. Really? No, it's the college university stream now. They don't call it applied academic.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah. But yeah, like I was in applied. I always knew I wanted to play ball, but then I got to grade 12. I was in applied. I was like, shit, like, I wanna go to university. Like I can't do my SATs and go down to the South. So I'm gonna bust my ass, stay next year in high school, switch to academic, and play some college ball, right? So that was my plan, and I did it. Went to went to York. York was a good opportunity for me. Like I had looks at from Western, Laurier. I would have gone to Carleton if they had kinesiology, but didn't have kin. So I was thinking of like my backup plan. But I went to York. York wasn't a very strong team. They had not the best culture, and they sold me on this thing with building the culture, being part of the growth of the team, and that really sold me on it. And I had a very good shot playing my first year. The more experience I had on the field, it was going to benefit me for my future, for playing at a pro level. And so I went to York. It's the best opportunity for me. So.
And did they follow through with that? Like, did you feel like you helped change the culture of that program and leave it in a better direction?
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, I'm not much of a vocal guy, but I lead by example. I'm always the guy that plays to the whistle, especially off the field in the weight room. I was always one of those guys lifting the heaviest weight, training the hardest, being there on time. That was always me, and hopefully that through my action, people will follow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my plan. Yeah.
That's a great leader, and then I want to kind of go off of that and say that it doesn't necessarily, as a general, like for people listening, there are several types of leaders as well, and people do. Some players, teammates need someone that yells at them and kind of gets at them in their face, but some people just need someone to look at. And when you're the guy that shows them what to do by kind of getting there on time, it trickles down. People don't realize it, but like you do it, and then the rookie does it, and then his friends do it, and then everyone shows up early, and then you have a new culture all of a sudden.
Exactly. Like if everyone's like slacking around, then everyone else gets slack around, right? It's very contagious. So I had my goal in mind. I knew what I wanted to do with my career, and I stuck to it since day one. And I hope that I was able to uplift some of the younger guys that went to York. But yeah.
All right. So out of university, and then obviously you had to do the combine to kind of show your stuff. The combine, was the combine virtual?
Yeah, combine. Oh no, it wasn't virtual. So it's crazy. Like once I finished the combine,
Yeah.
they canceled all combines. So I was very lucky to get in there, and I was very fortunate because. So you know what East West Bowl is? So this picture here. This is my mom got this for me. She got
nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was from East West Bowl, and when I got invited, and so East West Bowl, they have a combine. It's like the best third-year players in university. They pick a few hundred of those guys. And they have a huge bowl, and there is a lot of coaches that look at you, see how coachable you are. We go through drills. We did that. We did like a combine, so vertical, broad jump, 5-10-5, L drill, 40. We did all that, and I did okay. Not as well as I did at the combine I went to UFT last year,
right?
Because my dad passed away over a year ago, and that really affected my training, and just my numbers went right down. So I didn't perform as well, and that honestly could have affected how things could have turned out at the combine. So if I didn't get invited, who knows what could have happened besides my tape that they could only rely on. So I worked my ass off, got the call to go to the combine, went to it, did my best, and yeah.
So Brandon, and so the CFL, how hard do they look at that combine? Because Brandon and I, we watch a lot of hockey, and when they have the NHL combine, we just kind of laugh at it because it's like, okay, like in the NHL, we don't really care how many pull-ups these guys can do, how fast they can run. We want to see them on the ice. So does the CFL look at the combine differently than like another sport would?
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like you can be an average player with sick numbers, and they'll draft you, and they'll try to mold you into the athlete that they want, and you can be sick as hell, like one of the best in the OUA or U Sports now, but and your numbers are shit. They're not going to draft you. Like you have to have both. You know what I mean? You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta show some film, and you gotta be able to lift some serious weight, just because it shows your work ethic and how athletic you are, right? It's like it's what they can. It's like a baseline they use, and they see where they can go from there, right?
Yeah. So how did that affect your training then? Because for example, like just off the top of my head, I'd be okay. I can bench this weight, but my vertical jump sucks. So with that switch of training, so at the combine, you could be like, okay, I need to improve my vertical, or would you just focus on what you're strong at, or how would you approach that?
For me, like at the combine, so since day one, since I was at York, we did training. So we just got as strong as possible. We did runs. We did lots of runs in the off season. But once we got the call for the combine, they pulled those example, like there were there was Alex Daly, Rossini, Dejong Jabong, Caden Johnson, and me that got invited to the combine. And so they grabbed those guys. They said, hey, like, you guys are doing something different. We're training for the combine. And so they hired a bunch of combine specific people to help us. And so we just trained more specific stuff like 5-10-5, L drill, 40 yards. So a lot of short duration exercises with high power. So that's what we were doing. And we practiced those movements over and over again. And yeah, that's what we did. And for my bench, like that towards the end of the year, I separated my AC joint, and so I had a bench which an injured shoulder. But I hadn't tested my bench ever since, and so I only tested my 225 bench a week before the combine, and that's all I could do. Right, just do what I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's move on a little bit. Let's get into the gameplay and let's get some stories out of you. So you're playing. I'm sure you know football. I've never played personally. Brandon, I don't know if you played in high school or
whatnot. Very young, before high school. Actually,
it's it could be a heated sport. So we want to hear, like, has there been a moment where, like, after a play, you've looked at a guy and said, "I'm gonna rip your fucking head off in the parking lot." Like, tell me your most heated moment story. I want to hear that.
Honestly, like, I'm not the guy to talk shit. I'm more of the guy that just will, like, push you out of my face if you get in my face. But I've said stuff out of impulse that just comes out of me because I'm the worst shit talker, and this is why I keep my mouth shut. Like, but anyway, like, but yeah, like, usually it's the old lineman, because some of them can be dirty, man. Like, they'll grab your face mask, rip you to the ground. Right. Even when you're out of the play, they'll try to, like, dig your face into the dirt. They'll, like, belly flop on top of you with a 380-pound body. And, like, and yeah, man, like, one time, like, this old lineman thought I was diving at his knees or something like that. And he's, like, getting my face, and I was like, yeah, that's because you're fat. They're just, like, it's stupid. Like, it's just. I didn't even know what he was talking about. I just got so off guard, and I just replied to it, but I didn't even, like, know what was going on. But yeah, man, like, and sometimes I'll be like, I'll talk shit, be like, oh yeah, you're shit. You know, if
that's like that. I don't know what. I think it's the. I don't know what. I'm not gonna say it, but I'd say it to the bench warmers, where he's like, "You're still out," and the kid's like, "You're still fat," or something like that. It's just like, okay, it's not like it's the easiest chirp to see coming, but it's still something that at least you talked, and at least you didn't back down from the verbal the fight. That's what the game within the game. But you know, I guess I've already got the indication from you that you kind of let your play do the talking. So.
Oh, you should see. No, like, I've seen.
I can't. Some guys can shit talk under pressure, and, like, they can just say the most clever stuff, and I'm just there like, fuck you, you know, like.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's about it.
But it's not everyone's game.
I'm going to include his highlight tape. There's some pretty big hits in there. I was impressed with quite a few of those. But so what's your plan moving forward? Like, I know you're training. Your training would put my gym regime to shame. What are you doing right now to stay in shape during this time?
What does it look like? I guess, Rush, I want to know even more, because before he even answers it, I won't want to ask again. Sorry to interrupt, but, like, what does it look like times a week, 5 times a week? Like, what time of the day, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like, so before this 2020 season were to have started, I was training with my strength and conditioning coach from the BC Lions, and I was training at my girlfriend's gym. She has a beautiful gym. It has everything there. I was training there, doing their programs. I was doing 5 days a week, training for about 3 hours. So it was like an hour. It was like an hour of, like, warm-ups and runs, and then right after that, and skill work, and then right after that, I would hit the weights. It was like upper body, lower body, every other day. And then the season ended, and we didn't really hear much from the team because they're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. And then I ended up getting a new trainer, paying monthly for 3 times a week instead of 5, just to save money.
Yeah.
And it's been helping me with my gains for sure. I've been doing that at my girls' gym, and yeah. So with the new guy I'm training 5 hours a day, 3 days a week.
Bro,
So-
fuck that.
And the reason why, the only reason why it's 3 days a week, like that's not including runs. The only reason why it's 3 days a week is because, like, I'm trying to save money because of COVID and
that's not my concern. Like I can do 3 days a week, but that 5 hours, I'd be like, man, like I got other shit to do. I'm not working out for 5 hours. But you know what? Full credit to you. That's amazing. Like, and I guess that is what it is. So
I gotta invest in my body, you know, like
for sure.
Sometimes I forget I'm a pro athlete and I have to sit back like shit, like this is what I'm doing. Like I gotta really invest in myself. I gotta eat healthy. You know, me and my girl, every week we meal prep. Amazing food. If you check out, like if you go on our profile and you look at the food that we meal prep.
So shout that out real quick, because that was one thing I was going to bring up with you is your girlfriend's profile. It's like the business she set up is quite impressive and all that. So do you want to just shout that out real quick? I realize it's a good time for it.
Yeah, man. Like so my girlfriend, my beautiful Leda, she is a personal trainer, and she has her own gym. It's called Jacqueline's Athletic Company. Jack is the acronym. And yeah, if you go on a profile at Jacqueline Pollen,
I'll include it all. I have it all. I'll include it all.
If you go on her profile, you will see her gym. It's beautiful, not some dusty underground gym.
Yeah. No, it looks really nice. I can vouch for that. It looks really good.
Yeah, man. And like you can see some results that she has from her clients. It's really good progress.
So a little bit off of football and slightly jealous. And Brandon, you don't know about this. I just remembered it off the top of my head. I was on Instagram probably about week and a half ago, and I'm scrolling through and I see, Damian, you posted a story, and I press it, and it's you unboxing the new Xbox.
Yeah.
No.
Take us through this, because I don't know if you want me to say what I messaged you right away, but I messaged you something that not many guys say to another guy, and
oh no!
Like take us through that. What was that like? Because that
was
cool.
Probably another exciting moment of mine in my life besides the combine. Man, so like she said that she wanted to give me an Xbox for my birthday or Christmas. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, like she's my sugar mama, so she's gonna do what she has to do. But she so she even told me that she woke up at 7 a.m. She was looking online trying to get the Xbox, and she told me, oh babe, I couldn't get it for you. I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal, you know, like I'll wait or whatever. And so one day I come when the order came, and she couldn't wait to give it to me. So it's in a box. She tells me it's dumbbells because she has a gym. So I'm opening it up thinking it's like dumbbells and stuff. I open it. I'm like, holy shit, it's an Xbox. I was like so shocked, so surprised. And if I would have gotten it on my birthday or like on Christmas, it would have been obvious. I would have been like, okay, what's in this box? You know, she told me she's getting it from me, right? But I was so shocked.
Man, I saw that. God. I was like, you know what? Good for him. That's awesome. Because you deserve something like that just to unwind after a workout or whatever.
Yeah, man.
So have you, since kind of like this lockdown and the pandemic, and it didn't seem like it was getting any better. The CFL canceled their season, and then they just announced this new schedule. I don't know if you've looked at the schedule or not, kind of to see what's going on. Like training camps and stuff. Do you have any plans for that yet?
Yeah, like I was even talking to my agent, and it's crazy. Like everyone that got drafted did not receive a contract because the CFL didn't want to be obligated to give us money if there was going to be a season. You know, and also the CFL could have funded themselves to continue, but are there going to be fans? And most of their money that they receive is based on ticket sales. So it's like, sure, we can fund the CFL, but are we going to make any money from it? And so that's why they asked money from the government, and they turned us down, even though they can give money to other companies, and but
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't get the funding, and so now we're looking forward to 2021, and we'll see if that happens. Because right now it's up to the government. It's in the government's hands that can really pursue this. Because even in the NHL and NFL, there's not really going to be any games here in the NFL, but and most games in the NHL are in the States because Canada, you can't. It's not allowed, right? So
yeah. And then I was kind of upset, I was really upset when they canceled their season, because that's kind of a staple of every. And Americans might not get this. They might say, "Oh, CFL football, it's not real. It's only 3 downs." And I beg to differ. You got to do more with those plays. You only got 3 downs, right? And remember the saying, "Our balls are bigger."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's like, so that get that out of here. We don't need that. We don't need that.
Saskatchewan.
Man. So, and when they canceled the season, I was like, it takes away that takes away the Labor Day Classic. We'd have, I live 15 minutes from the Ticats stadiums. I don't really support one team, because when I live closer to Toronto, I cheer for the Argos. When now I live in Hamilton, I cheer for the Ticats.
Oh, don't even get me started. I have a great question when you bring that up.
So it's like
my 2 teams was, I was actually hoping I'd go to Hamilton to get drafted because I'm close to home, but Toronto and Hamilton were the teams I was rooting for. But I'm blessed to go to BC, man. I heard it's beautiful down there.
Oh, dude, they got some great golf courses.
Oh my God, honestly, that's a great point, because if you weren't going to stay home, if you're going to the most beautiful place away from home, then it's not that too big of a deal. But it already answered in my question was the fact that I wanted to know, because I grew up in Hamilton as well. Similar to Josh, I guess, but you grew up around Oakville in the GTA. Did you identify more as an Argos or as a Ticats fan?
Definitely more of an Argos fan, because Toronto and everything. I went to my first game with the Argos with my dad. It was like one of the best. Chad Owens. That's when he was on the boards and everything, playing for the Argos. And we were on the field. That's so cool. We were on the field. We were getting food. It was amazing tickets. I think I still have the tickets here somewhere. But
nice.
That's great. No, that's a great answer. And then honestly, just for my own kind of quick hitter question, personality wise, as a football fan in general, you saw the Saskatchewan Roughrider. It doesn't mean anything. I do like the Ticats. My mom went to a conference out in Saskatchewan, got me that T-shirt. However, when it comes to identifying as your favorite NFL team, people always think maybe it's just the closest state to them, or they have something to do with their parents, the history of a team, and it came from their favorite relatives team. I want to know what sparks your favorite interest in your NFL team.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've watched good football, since I don't have cable, and I've just been focusing on school and training. But growing up as a kid, man, it was Brett Favre and Peyton Manning were my go-tos. My dad loved those guys, and man, quarterbacks, I think having a great quarterback is what determines a winning team versus a losing team. Like a Mahomes, for example, and look at Tom Brady. Those are great quarterbacks. Brett Favre, I was watching him when he was playing on Green Bay, and even Peyton Manning when he was on the Colts and then the Broncos. So I usually go based on quarterbacks. Those are my teams. So I really root for Mahomes and Tom Brady. Those are my guys. But also Buffalo, I like Buffalo too, because it's closer to Canada. So, but
exactly. And I know Josh has near and dear to his heart.
Go Bills. All right, I got two last questions for you. If Johnny Manziel was still in the league while you were playing, how hard would you hit him?
Oh man, as hard as I could, obviously.
Enough to get the money out of his
You
pockets.
gotta hit those guys as hard as you can. Like I said, like they can determine the game.
Also,
Good answer.
obviously, I'm sure you're aware of another football league, the XFL.
Yeah,
Formerly run by Vince McMahon. Now it was bought for $15 million by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
yeah, it's crazy.
Is that something, like, if for whatever reason you couldn't play in the CFL, is that something you would consider, a football league with kind of funny rules? And
Oh yeah, like football is football, man. And if I'm playing that sport to make money, that's amazing.
There's a huge market for the XFL, and we were talking about before we even came on the air, just marketing in general. And this is a great point to bring up. Is like it's XFL. It is different rules. It's a huge market. People want to watch this.
Oh yeah.
When it came back for those 5 weeks, I was fully invested. Like, I picked a team and I said, I'm following this team and I'm diehard for this team. And for those 5 weeks,
It's awesome, man. Yeah.
we went 4-1, and I was the biggest Battlehawks fan in the world.
That's sick. That's awesome, man. Like yeah, like XFL is sick, man. Like it's always been like between NFL and CFL, and then XFL is kind of in between there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I hope they come back, man. More job opportunities.
Yeah, for sure.
For everyone, you know what I mean? So that's great, and it could even like reduce. Actually, no, it's preseason, but yeah, man, that's definitely an option for me, because even like back in high school, like it's always been my dream to play in the NFL. I even have it in my bio. If you look at the yearbook in WAS, go to the NFL. But yeah, if I can play NFL, XFL, like that's the dream, man. So hopefully, So right now, because I don't have any pro film on me, I'm not in a good spot to go down south.
Right.
So the best thing for me is just to kill it in the CFL, get some pro tape on me, and send it down to the XFL, NFL, and maybe get employed down there.
Right. And PJ Walker took that path. He was a quarterback in the XFL. He lapped quarterbacks, and now he's playing in the NFL. So he's on the bench, but he's playing. So but you know what? He's getting that payday, and I'm sure at the end of the day, that's what athletes, that's their goal. They want to be seen. They want their talent to be appreciated and to be recognized for it. So we're gonna wrap this up. Do you have any last words? Any wise things to say? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Any of that stuff?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I don't really have much to say, but I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's my first interview, so I really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you guys.
It was awesome to have you on, and I think
man. One day we've been talking about this. Yes, one day we will be like super proud to be credited for this first interview. We promise. I will be waiting for the first broadcast, and who knows, I might have to dip into a little bit of CFL BC Lions merchandise now.
Yeah, we're gonna get. I'm gonna get a big Lions flag.
What's your number? What's your jersey?
Man, I didn't get a contract. Don't have a number.
What's your jersey number? Favorite number ever? Like, what do you wear in high school, college, university? What do you wear?
So high school I was 30, university I was 30. So if I can get 30,
that's what I'll be looking for. Number 30.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Thank you so much, man. A pleasure. I hope to see you soon, especially on the big screen.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, peace.
Amazing interview. That was a lot of fun. While we're talking football, let's talk some more football. We are on, I think we're in week 12 of the NFL. Is that correct? Sounds about right. Yeah, we're going into week 12. So we are going to recap week 11. Sunday, I'm just going to read the scores out to you. If something jumps out at you, let me know. So we had the Steelers beating the Jaguars 27-3. First time the Steelers have started 10-0 in franchise history. Steelers are rolling, absolutely crushed the Jags in this one, no question. Steelers are 10-0, Jags are 1-9, which is amazing.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Brandon's just speechless with the Steelers record. The Titans. Go ahead.
Yeah, once they were 9-0, the rest of their season looked like a lock.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you think they'll go 16-0?
they have the chance to lose 2 games, and because they play the Bills and another team, but they have beat
Bills
both
Mafia.
that those teams that they have coming that are still tough. They have already beat already, so there's no reason they can't again and go 16-0.
Right. The Titans beat the Ravens 30-24. This was a overtime game. There was a 29-yard touchdown rush in overtime, so that was pretty exciting. The Titans improved to 7-3. Ravens dropped to 6-4. That's not much went on in that game. It was an overtime game. One that stood out to me here: the Panthers beat the Lions 20-0. How do you score no points in a football game? I don't know. Go ask the Detroit Lions. Pretty embarrassing. The Lions, they can't draft, they can't play, they got no core to build around. They play out of Detroit. That's 4 L's right there. So Detroit Lions, get your shit together, relocate if you have to. You're a joke of a team. We don't even talk about you. That's how big of a joke you are.
Oh my god.
You're such a bad joke. You don't even have a punchline. That's why we don't talk about you. The Browns beat the Eagles 22-17. Browns improved to 7-3. The Eagles dropped to 3-6-1. The Browns, are they playoff bound?
The Browns are playoff bound. They're probably wild card playoff bound, if anything, but they'll have to prove themselves, I think, still, and stay injury free.
So, want to hear a crazy stat?
Yeah, I do.
That is the Browns' first home win against Philadelphia since 1988.
Well, you know what they say.
No, I don't.
They're usually taking the Browns to the Super Bowl.
All right. That's a terrible. Clip it. Clip it.
Oh my god. That's too good.
The-
I mean, the only thing that was on my mind was the Browns.
You're going to love this one. The Texans beat the Patriots 27-20, the first time below 500 since week 10 of 2000.
The Texans?
The Patriots are pulling their pants down at a Tim Hortons and taking a huge shit on the floor.
Dude, who says that? Okay. First of all, they're not even allowing capacity in the Tim Hortons these days. There's no room for even taking shits on the floor. If you got into the Tim Hortons that quickly, enough space to take off your pants and just like fornicate. I don't know.
No, that's the word. That is the word.
On the ground in the middle of good old Timothy Hortons, then you have no good old sanitation. You have no class, man.
Also, don't disrespect Tim Hortons like that.
Especially if you're the Patriots and you're American, man. Get the fuck out of here. Go eat your Dunkin' Donuts.
Also, don't try to avoid the fact that the Patriots are now 4-6 and lost to the Texans, who are 3-7. What do you have to say for yourself?
Especially if you're dressed like Cam Newton dresses and loses those type of games. Usually people, with confidence on and off the field, dress like like the way he does. I mean, you can dress however you want. I'm just saying. I know he kind of dresses to get a message out and an image about himself, I would imagine, because lately it's not been really coming together on the field. So he's probably got to put together something on the runway so that people look at him and still make story and headlines about him, because clearly his on-field performance is below average at best. And just like his on-field performance, the Patriots are below average at best.
Well, he threw for 365 with only 1 touchdown, but still a pretty good game. He threw up for 365.
No, he needs more. No, fuck it. He needs more. Fuck it.
All right. Cam Newton, you need to do more. Moving on. The Saints beat the Falcons 24-9. Saints improved to 8-2. They won without Drew Brees, beating the mediocre Falcons that me and 10 of my best friends could beat, and they improved to 3-7.
I could only imagine 10 of Josh's best friends.
The joke is no. The joke is I don't have 10 friends. It'd be like you, me, and Stacy from Risk Management. So,
and we'd hope our guests would come and help us, and we'd still be 5 short of an even lineup against people who have been doing this their whole lives. Regardless of the point, we could still probably outrun them. Josh is fast. He's had to run away from a couple times, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think he's on the golf course.
Take it out of the house.
Moving on to the next game. This one has a little bit of story to it. The Washington football team, and I think they're staying with that name moving forward, beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-9. Joe Burrow, he went down on the play, and then it is reported that he has blew out his MCL, ACL, and there is bone damage. That is quite the loss for the Bengals. He will not be back this year.
That's a huge loss, not only for the Bengals, for the NFL. He's a rookie, and he had the chance, I'm sure, to be Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player Rookie of the Year.
I think he can still win it.
Yeah. Regardless, like you said, instead of thinking he might win it, it's not going to be a lock like it could have been. Hopefully he comes back. He tweeted that he'll be back stronger. You can't get rid of me like that, he said, or along those lines.
Yeah.
You know, it sucked because we were expecting to see a full season. You know, we had got past halfway. Like you said, week 12. Maybe we were going to see a full season of tape. To say
it's a shame because he was. I know the Bengals weren't winning, but he was fun to watch.
And right, that's the whole point. Because if you're not a Bengals fan, you could be an NFL fan.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a lottery pick. Was he the first or the second?
First overall.
Right. So he's that guy, right? You watch the Oilers aren't good, but you watch McDavid, and you know a couple teams in the NBA. Let's just say
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you fucked up really bad there. I was gonna say that Joe Burrow played for the Oilers. I was like, okay.
Oh my God, no.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
It's more along the lines that you're referencing the fact that as a sports fan and as a league fan,
yeah,
you're just hoping to see the best player do well and hopefully turn around that absolute dog shit franchise, especially for the Cincinnati Bengals. Just absolutely dog shit playing next to the Browns. Speaking of shit, so
speaking of dog shit, let's move on to the New York Jets. The New York Jets lose 34-28, drop to 0-10. That is the best transition in podcast history. I'm going to give myself a round of applause on that one. Chargers improved to 3-7. The Jets dropped to 0-10. I think the Jets might have been celebrating in the dressing room because they got 28 points. I don't really know what to say about the Jets anymore. I think we should just move on to Broncos Dolphins. Broncos beat the. Oh no, Mike. 1 second. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. I'm leaving that in. The Broncos beat the Dolphins 20-13. Dolphins first loss to a quarterback. Such a shame. Such a shame.
Yeah, such a shame, especially because we mentioned on this podcast earlier in previous episodes that Tua was the next coming of Dan Marino. And, Dan Marino may have not have lost this type of game, especially because it's still early in a breakout season for the type of guy. So let's hope he can bounce back soon.
There you have it, Miami Dolphins fans. You need to re-sign Dan Marino. The Cowboys.
And there you have it.
The Cowboys beat the Vikings 31-28. This was a field goal game. Dallas had a go-ahead 2-yard reception TD with 1:37 remaining. Dallas, surprising that they beat the Vikings, improved to 3-7, and maybe making a push for the playoffs.
Fuck the Cowboys, man. They are not making the NFC any easier. And it's already the hardest division in football, the NFC East.
NFC least.
I've just got you. But, I mean, the Giants had a bye week, so that's why I'm not talking about my favorite team right now. But
the Bills also had a bye week, so we're just kind of flying through the football.
Fuck the NFL this week, essentially.
Yeah, we got 3 games left. Let's get through them. Packers lose to the Colts 34-31. This was a heavy hitter game. Colts improved to 7-3. Packers dropped to 7-3. This was an overtime game, 39-yard field goal. Pretty impressive, entertaining game, heavy hitter game. Kind of upset I didn't watch the full thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Chiefs beat the Raiders 35-31. It is reported after this game that the Chiefs did 69 laps around the Raiders arena and went nice. I just made that up, but I'm reporting it myself, sourcing myself. So
Breaking news.
good for you, Chiefs. No, the Chiefs just keep on rolling. 9-1. Raiders 6-3, 6-4. The Chiefs are just going to keep rolling to the Super Bowl. They may win 3 or 4 Super Bowls in a row here. Pat Mahomes is just a different monster. He has a team of weapons around him. Nothing is stopping the Chiefs this year. KC are 30-4 in the AFC West since 2015. That is just an unreal stat.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Last game, and I got some words for Tom Brady. I got some words. Rams beat the Buccaneers 27-24. Buccaneers dropped to 7-4. Rams improved to 7-3. Tom.
Yeah. Hey, Tom Brady.
Tom, listen to me. I know you're listening. When somebody offers you a handshake after the game, a legend like Jared Goff offers you a handshake, you take it. You don't blow him off. Because if you had kicked Goff's ass, you'd be going to be like, oh shit, you would have been looking for the laundry guy of the team to shake his hand and take a photo with him. But since you lost, you are a sore loser and you ran off the field like the big baby you are. So Tom Brady, you're a mediocre quarterback, and I don't regret saying it. Brandon, what are your words to Tom Brady?
You know what? Tom Brady, just like he has been to the Giants his whole life in the Super Bowl, just taking L's, man.
Yeah.
That's where I'll bring out my Giants this week, okay?
All right. Well, that wraps up our NFL talk. I just want to bring up some games of notice, actually, looking forward, because it is Thanksgiving weekend in the States. I don't fully understand Thanksgiving. I lived there for 2-3 years. I didn't quite get it either. But so there's going to be games on Thursday, and I think we have a triple header Thursday. So Thursday we have the Texans, Lions, Washington football team, and the Cowboys, and then closing out the evening we have the Ravens, Steelers. So we got some pretty good games. Sunday, the standout ones, we have Giants and Bengals. Usually I wouldn't circle this one, but I'm going to circle it to see how the Bengals can do without Joe Burrow and if the Giants can get a win against the handicapped Bengals. So that might be that might have my attention, and I'm going to be interested to see the line on that game. I think the Bengals will still be favorited. Dolphins at Jets, I'm circling that one just because I want to see if the Jets can go 0-11. That's literally the only reason I am circling that game. We got Cardinals, Patriots. That will be interesting because the Cardinals are 6-4, Pats 4-6. Let's see if somebody can break 500 here, see what's going on. Chiefs, Bucks, maybe the game of the weekend. Tom Brady, quarterback of old. Pat Mahomes, the quarterback now, going head-to-head. That is going to be the game of the weekend for everybody else except me, because I'll be watching Chargers, Bills Mafia, back off their bye week, keep rolling, going to 8-3, baby. Let's kick the Chargers' ass. Brendan, any excited thoughts for this weekend, or are you just...
I'm excited that you're excited for the Giants game because not many people I know are, and it excites me that they're playing a handicapped team, as you mentioned, in Joe Burrow-less for the Bengals.
Yeah, man, that was that might be, I like games like that where there's a story, right? Like I brought this up earlier. I love a story in a game, and that game has a story. Joe Burrow leaving the Bengals. Who's going to play? We don't know. Let's see how the Bengals do without them. So that wraps up our NFL talk.
Boom. Speaking of Josh loving big stories, if you listen to our podcast, we cover big stories.
Where are you going with this?
Let me restart. If you watch our podcast, we cover big stories, big stories only. Kendall Coyne.
Yes. Oh.
A little bit of Chicago Blackhawks might have been watching.
Kendall Coyne hired by the Chicago Blackhawks as a player development coach. Round of applause to both parties involved. This is a great hiring. Not only because, and you know what? I saw a lot of tweets saying, oh, they're only hiring her for the PR aspect of it. No, fuck off. Kendall Coyne great hockey player, great hockey mind, know what she's talking about. She could bring a lot of knowledge to this franchise. And congratulations to her. Congratulations to the Blackhawks on a great and deserving hire. And you know what? You're welcome for the influence from our Women in Sport episode, because I honestly believe that's why. So I'm gonna take full credit for it. Also,
yeah, Kendall Coyne was some of our female hockey athletes, players that they
both of them,
aspired.
both of them said Kendall Coyne.
So I'll tell you what. That's all I'll tell you. Just look and tune in. Female, women. Was it the Women's in Sports episode? That's what it's called.
Episode 4.
Orion. Most viewed so far.
Yeah, but that kind of a pretty good transition in the NHL, I guess. Gary Bettman has been quoted saying that he expects the league to drop the puck on January 1st.
Keep talking. I gotta get my charger.
All right. Hey,
actually, yeah, keep talking. We're gonna put an animation here while I.
Okay, Brandon's gone. Gary Bettman expects to drop the puck on January 1st with a full 82-game season. Don't know about that one, because it seems kind of unrealistic at this point that they would play a full 82-game season with fans in the building from January 1st and still get that full rotation and wrap up by the end of July, which would be their end goal. I just think this is extremely unrealistic. The NHL is playing a tactic where they know the players are going to have to cave eventually, and they get to play the 42-game season that they want. And start on February 1st, which is, I think, where they're heading. They'll have to pay the players less. The owners will save money. It's kind of a gross display of power from the owners in my mind, but they're either going to start January 15th and play a 60-game season, or start February 1st and play a 48-game season. Not what I want to see. I was really hoping the NHL would start January 1st and play a 60-game season, but I don't think it's looking that way.
And you know what? What doesn't help that look any better is just a flurry of news in coronavirus cases in the NHL.
Yeah.
We got
4 cases in Las Vegas and an unknown amount of cases in Columbus.
And yeah, that's the NHL. Yes, that is the NHL. And importantly, to go off of the NHL, we're talking about cases, hockey related. Team Canada came down with 2 cases as well. It's just not looking too well.
Yeah, so I don't understand this one. How did they get cases into the bubble if all they're doing is going to the rink in the hotel?
It's very, very, it's something that caught me off guard.
Like, I wasn't expecting this. I thought they were in and good and safe. I thought they had all tested negative. And did somebody do something with the Uber Eats guy, or I don't know?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like in the NBA bubble, we were made aware that there was very strict restrictions in terms of where the players could go and the lines and the boundaries, and you couldn't order outside food. You couldn't really do any of that, and you wonder what kind of slip up it was. Maybe it was someone from higher, I can't say it was someone from higher management, but maybe it was someone who took a little bit of advantage of the protocols. And just it sucks, because you'd like to imagine that you would have a bubble to make sure something like this doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you know what? It sounds kind of mean, but I'm glad it happened now and not the night before the gold medal game. You know what I mean? It's better to happen in training camp than it is in like a bronze or gold medal game. So
I agree. Okay, I agree. It could still be very existent.
Yes.
When it comes to World Juniors time, the whole pandemic situation is not looking any better, that's for sure. But let's hope that we can learn rather from this, because you don't want the fact that it happened to make it accessible for it to happen again, because you just want
exactly.
to
Right. So hopefully they learn from this and they move forward, and they get it resolved. So we don't have much NHL news to update you on. The two sides still aren't meeting.
A huge episode already.
Yeah. Let me just wrap it up quickly. They aren't talking. They aren't meeting. I think Brandon and I are both expecting between a January 15th and February 1st start now. kind of disappointing in our eyes because we wanted to see hockey on New Year's Day, but I guess we'll just go with NBA basketball and NFL football. So,
Yeah.
but until then, NHL, I don't think you're going to get much airtime on this show. Just one last shout out. Austin Matthews is in Arizona training with none other than Connor McDavid, which I found extremely interesting because that's I'm going to say it right now. That is two of the best top three players in the NHL training together. You can argue, when the fuck did you get that?
Oh, you already know. I am the biggest Austin Matthews fan. There's nothing I wouldn't know about him.
He didn't go to Arizona State.
Yeah, but that's where he practices. He debuted their third jerseys. Like he was photographed when Arizona State released their yellow jerseys. They used Austin Matthews.
Yo, did you know that team is on a 17-game road trip?
Do you know that they just got like the Arizona State ASU rather, whatever, that's got like a brand new facility, like one of the richest in the NCAA. Like, what a great way to bring up their name. I've had that T-shirt for a long time. Like, as soon as I knew he was from Arizona State, and I got more into the relevancy of that T-shirt when he pissed in front of the Arizona cop. Just because he's from Arizona, I know that he has a big tie to.
He didn't piss in front of the cop. He just moved the cop.
Similar fashion, we're talking about the downstairs region. He was close to the area. Bringing out some fire if you're watching this on YouTube today and you're seeing the T-shirts I've brought out so far. Not a huge Rough Riders fan, but definitely repping the Ticats color on my sleeves today with the red. Okay, there's no red, but there's yellow and black. But
Brandon's colorblind.
You know what? We're all about sports here, and Austin Matthews training with another all-star is something that's outside of being someone who's kind of privatized, and you don't want to see someone who doesn't have many. Like, it's nice to see our star have friends. You know, our Toronto Maple Leaf star have friends outside of the team.
It gets me excited because that means McDavid is learning shot skills off of Matthews, and Matthews is learning skating strides off of McDavid. And that is only going to make the two better and more competitive. And when this Canadian division happens, Toronto-Edmonton games are going to be top class and amazing. And all this is doing is just setting up for when McDavid eventually signs in Toronto anyway. So let's get it done. Matthews has already started the under the table bargaining, and with that I think we can transition into Korean baseball.
What kind of Okay, wait a minute. Okay, wait. First of all, that was brutal. Second of all, when you mentioned the word under the table and transition, I totally thought you're going for Undertaker transition. But this guy said right into the Korean baseball with the most unauthentic transition that we've ever expected. Not very strategized at all.
No. The Undertaker deserves to close the show. You talk about your little Korean baseball story.
My little Korean baseball. That's a very interesting way of describing it. I just wanted to mention the fact that I sent Josh this thing on TSN that the Korean baseball Korean base. I don't know what the league is called, but it ended in O. So I think that was called organization. Their trophy, their World Series, their trophy, the thing they handed out to the winning team was like a literal sword, 6 feet long, that these guys were waving around. It
looked like that thing the giant the Megazoid from Power Rangers would yield.
It is unbelievable that is considered something of prestige, that they're trying to win this. It's just like they're winning it to just like kill the rest of the team, the league. Like, the winner of this gets to kill. Like, you're giving them a weapon.
Yeah, maybe that's what they wanted. Anyway, speaking of killing their opponents, The Undertaker, 30 years in the business, 30 years from Sunday.
Yeah, and you guys thought 17 years in the NBA was LeBron James go.
No. He had the greatest streak in sports history, 21-0 at WrestleMania, ended by Brock Lesnar. 30 years in the wrestling business. He was and is my favorite wrestler growing up. I used to watch him all the time. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you know who I'm talking about. Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, the greatest of all time. Brandon,
God.
I don't know if you were a wrestling fan growing up or if you.
Oh, you don't even know.
Undertaker.
Biggest wrestling fan.
What did The Undertaker mean to you growing up?
That's a great question. I can't wait to hear the comments from Lily in the Dundas Valley, aka my mother. Just verify the fact that I would go to the extent of just missing family functions to watch a pay-per-view on Sunday night. If my brother or grandmother had a birthday dinner, I tell you what, if Randy Orton or Kofi Kingston were in a championship title match, I was watching the WWE and I was helping. Okay, let's take that word back. I wasn't helping my parents pay for me to watch it, and I didn't know what illegal streams were. So let's just say I was on Coach Go on Demand watching the greatest SummerSlams, Hell in a Cells, WrestleManias, Judgment Day. I think they had way back when. And just the WWE in general means so much to my childhood, not necessarily how I go about my sports fandom now, but the WWE just played a huge part in me growing up. And the stuff that I wore, I'd wear their T-shirts. I went to a bunch of their events. The Undertaker was someone that not only did I cherish,
he was larger than life.
And that's the kind of the point. I don't know if cherish, but like cherish as a entertainer, as a wrestler. But like when I went to sleep or like when I got off the broadcast, like the Undertaker lived in my thoughts. Like he was that goddamn scary, and he was that damn real to me that him and Kane, just to bring up another example, like I thought these guys would come out of the bed or come out of my closet at night and literally be right there, just like they come out of nowhere on the screen. Because like if you heard the ding and then the lights go off and then the Undertaker comes out, like I literally think that that character is so real. He's living beside me in my house, because the WWE when I was young and innocent just absolutely destroyed my creativity mind and like made me think that everything was just so damn real, and that not to discredit like the real sacrifices that a lot of those guys make for the injuries they put on the line for a lot of big stunts rather. But as a young child, just being like terrorized by some of the scariest guys, the Undertaker, now that I look back on him scaring me, it's just because he was so goddamn like impactful on the sport.
Did you watch The Last Ride? Not The Last Dance, The Last Ride.
I know what The Last Ride is, but I don't know. I know it's a signature.
The Last Ride, it's a documentary on The Undertaker. It's a 5-part series. They go behind the scenes, and it's pretty much The Last Dance, but for The Undertaker. You got
Is it already released?
Sorry?
It's already been released?
All 5 parts are out. I'm going to give you my login, and you can watch it because it is goddamn good TV. But in this, you get to see behind the scenes. You don't see the character. You see the guy who plays the character, Mark Calloway. And that's what The Undertaker was. He was a character in pro wrestling for 30 years. The man who played him represented this character in and out of the ring. And there's a thing called kayfabe, and he kept kayfabe alive. Kayfabe is the portrayal of a character on or off the screen. Wherever he went, he was The Undertaker, and that's what he was to kids my age. That's what he gets 10 years younger than me. That's The Undertaker was The Undertaker. And my 3 favorite memories of The Undertaker, number 1, at Cops Coliseum, I went to a SmackDown taping where Dave Bautista returned at the end to beat up Chris Jericho. But they did, me and my brothers, we were leaving the Coliseum and we were really upset. We were like, oh, we didn't get to see The Undertaker tonight because he had disappeared. And then all of a sudden we hear this match is set for one fall and it is for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we were like, yo, what the fuck? And we sprint back to our seats because they were doing a dark match and it was The Undertaker versus CM Punk, a no disqualification match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I got to see The Undertaker live only one time, but it was amazing to see. Like he came out, the fire was so hot, and I'll never forget that. Number 2 was I used to have my buddies over for WrestleMania. Like we used to come over for the Big 4 pay-per-views, and we'd have them over at my parents' house. And we were watching whenever the streak was broken. I think it was WrestleMania 30, and we were a little bit behind, so it was like 3 a.m, and Brock Lesnar pinned The Undertaker, and we absolutely lost it. Like we were all 19 years old, just upset in the basement, screaming. My mom messaged me. She goes, "I'm gonna fucking kick you and your friends out if you don't shut the fuck up right now." And then the last one was when CM Punk beat Jeff Hardy in a Extreme Rules match, and The Undertaker returned. And the match finished with CM Punk standing over Jeff Hardy between his legs. The gong hit, the lights went out, And then the lights came back on and it looked like he wasn't there. And then it took all of us in my basement a second to realize that The Undertaker was there laying between CM Punk's feet, stood up, choke slammed him. And then that was when I knew The Undertaker was back. So I'm not afraid to admit when he retired at Survivor Series on Sunday night, I got a little bit teary-eyed. And I just want to show my appreciation and thank Mark Calloway and The Undertaker for kind of what he did for me in my childhood and introducing me to the people I now know and still stay in contact with. So rest in peace to the Undertaker.
Don't bring tears to my eyes too, man.
Yeah,
Mark Calloway.
listen. You know what really got me? He as he was going down, I'm sure you know who Paul Bearer is. Paul Bearer died a couple of years ago, the guy who played Paul Bearer. And he was the guy with the urn who would go, oh yes. As the Undertaker was saying goodbye, a big hologram of Paul Bearer came on the screen, and they got one final farewell together. So it was just really nice to see. And we probably won't talk much more pro wrestling on this podcast, but that was just really important to both of us, so we wanted to bring it up. So in the meantime, make sure you like the video, comment on the video, let us know what you want to do, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram at these usernames down below. I cannot reach into Brandon's screen and point for him, but he is. This is what you
made it.
At. Up above is our Instagram channel, and make sure you check us out everywhere. We will be back on Friday.
That's the plan usually. If you made it this far in the episode, I really hope you did. Breaking news, Bogdan Bogdanovic signed with the Atlanta Hawks for 4 years.
Okay.
Happened within the last 5-10 minutes. Boom. Woj bomb from Brandon.
Bran-Bomb.